tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon va'ani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim b'rov chasdecha
Shabbat Shalom. We are here in the Wolf Sanctuary not only to celebrate Shabbat, but also to celebrate the Bar Mitzvah of Myles Baumholtz. So you are in for an amazing treat to be able to celebrate with us in almost a normal kind of way, though of course you are all out there in Zoom land or on Facebook or on our live stream, and we're here with just immediate family in the sanctuary, but yet it is really amazing to feel the sun coming in and to know that this is such a special day. If you're joining us on Zoom, you can find the link to our prayer book in the chat. If you're on Facebook, it is in the comments. And of course, if you're with us on our live stream, you can see right below the screen a link to our Siddur. We're going to begin our service singing Ma Tovu, and there's going to be a screen share for that. A screen share. Join us.
Oh
On page 76, we offer blessings for the gifts of body and soul, reminding ourselves how those are intertwined, how grateful we are to have the ability to be here this morning to celebrate all together. Join me in the English on the bottom of page 76. Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well known before your throne of glory that if one of them be wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure and stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh, working wondrously. Baruch atah Adonai, rofecho basar, umafli la'asot. On page 78, we praise God for the gift of soul. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tahorahi. My God, the soul you have given me is pure. On page 88, we read together Elu Devarim, rabbinic teachings of a world where all of us take care of each other, laying out our obligations to make our world more whole and more holy. Join with us. These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. We turn now to Chatzi Kaddish, either on our screen share or on page 106 in your prayer book. If you're able, I invite you to please rise as we remain standing through the Shema.
Yitvar v'chomam v'yitnaseh Yitadar v'yitalar v'yitalal Shemei l'kodesha prichu Le'ela min kol bechata v'shirata Tush bechata v'lechemata Damiran be'olema V'meru amen.
As we turn to page 108 for the Baruch Hu, I invite our Bar Mitzvah, Myles Baumholtz, to lead us in the next portion of our worship service.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed. We continue on page 110. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvrei choshe, oseh shalom uvrei et hakol. Chameir la'aretz v'ladarim, alecha berahamim. Uv tuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid, maaseh v'reshit. Ma rabu maasecha Adonai, kulom b'chochma asita. Mala haaretz kinyanecha, tit barach Adonai Eloheinu. Al shevach maaseh yadecha, ve'al meorei or she'asita yafarucha sela, or chadash al Sion ta'ir, v'nizkei chulanu mehera leoro, Baruch atah Adonai, yotzer hameirot. We continue on top of page 113. Once or twice in a lifetime, a man or woman may choose a radical leaving, having heard Lech Lecha, go forth. God disturbs us towards our destiny by hard events, and by freedom's now urgent voice, which explode and confirm who we are. We don't like leaving, but God loves becoming. Baruch atah Adonai habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava. We continue on page 114. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. We continue together on page 116. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol v'cha u'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'lechtecha v'derech Ushopeha uvkumeha, ukshartam leota yadeha, v'hayu letotafod beineneha, uchtavtam al mezuzot peitecha uvisharecha, leman tiskeru v'asitem ekol mitotai, v'chitem kedushin lelohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hoseiti etchem, Meretz Mitzrayim lihot lachem lelochim, ani Adonai Elohechem. Emet. We continue on top of page 121. Emet, there is no place where you are not. Even in the wilderness, there is your word. Emet, that pen strokes of lightning, white fire, black flame. Stir the soul's passion, guide our sacred way. True and enduring is Torah. Your truth for us is certain and established, now and forevermore. Like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out and rejoice. We continue with the chanting of the Amidah on page 124. Please rise. Adonai Sephatai Tiftachu Fi Agid. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah El Hagadol Hagibur v'Hanorah El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Hazdei Avot V'Imahot Umevi Geula Livnei B'nehem Liman Shemo Be'achava Melech Hozir Mashiach Umagen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Morid Hatal Mechalkel Hayim Behesed Mehaye HaKol Berahamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Mimit Umechayeh Umatmiya Yeshua V'ne'eman Ata Lecha Chayot HaKol Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol. We continue on page 130. Nekadesh et Shimcha Ba'olam Keshem Shimakdishim Oto Bishmei Marom Kakatuv Al Yad Neviecha Vikara Ze El Ze Ve'amar Kadosh 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 Adonai Sevaot Melocho Haaretz Kevodo Adir Adirenu Adonai Adoninu Ma'adir Shemecha B'chol Haaretz Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkomo Echad Hu Eloheinu Hu Avinu Hu Malkeinu Hu Moshienu V'Hu Yashmienu Berahamav Le'enei Kol Chai Ani Adonai Elohechem Im lo Adonai leolam Elochai Tzion Ledor Vador Hallelujah Ledor Vador Nagid Godlecha U'anesach Nesachim Kedushacha Nagdish V'shivhacha Eloheinu Mipinu lo Yamush leolam Va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. We continue in singing Yismechu on page 132 as we praise God for the gift of Shabbat.
Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei 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 Shabbat, yikorei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei 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 Shabbat, yikorei oneg Shabbat.
We continue in the middle of page 137. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer to life, to peace, and to joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah. Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst for excess, and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer in life, in peace, and in joy. Baruch atah Adonai she'otcha levadcha be'yirah na'avod. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day. Evening, morning, and noon, O good one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one whose kindness never fails, we forever put hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulecha ne'eh lechodot.
Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha.
Together, grant peace, goodness, and blessing, grace, kindness, and mercy to us and to all your people Israel. Bless us, our Creator, all of us together, through the light of your presence. Truly, through the light of your presence, Adonai, our God, you gave us a Torah of life. May the love of kindness, justice, and blessing, mercy, life, and peace. May you see fit to bless your people Israel at all times, at every hour, with your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
Having prayed for peace in our world, we think of those who face the future not fully whole, those who are in need of healing of mind, of body, and spirit. We think of those who are shared on your screen and those who are in our hearts. Take a moment, think of them now. We join together singing Misha Berach on page 253.
May the source of strength, oh bless the ones before us, help us find the
We take a few moments now for our own silent prayers.
Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
Seder Kriyat Torah, service for the reading of Torah, page 245. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah. And let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God. In just a moment, we will open up our ark and take out our sacred scroll and pass Torah down to Myles with the generations of his family. And so I call now up his grandparents, Alan and Louise Baumholtz, and his parents, Melissa and Dr. Michael Baumholtz, to stand with him right here in the chain of tradition as we open up the ark and take out our sacred scroll.
אין כמוך אלוהים אדוני כמעשיך מלכותך מלכות כל העולמים וממשלתך בכל דור ודור אדוני מלך אדוני מלך אדוני מלך לעולם ועד אדוני
Torah tzivalanu Moshe Marashat Kihilat Yaakov. This is the Torah given by God to Moses, the inheritance of the congregation of Israel. Myles, on Mount Sinai, God gave the gift of Torah to the people of Israel by handing it to Moses. Moses, in his time, passed Torah down to Joshua. Joshua passed Torah down to the elders. The elders passed Torah down to the men of the great assembly, who in their time passed Torah down to the rabbis. The rabbis spent their lives stepping inside those ancient teachings, finding modern meaning in their own day, so that those truths would remain current and relevant and inspiring to people who read then. And so too now, when we read our holy text, because of that tradition, we are able to find and seek modern meaning for ourselves. And so just like God gave Torah to Moses and the people of Israel as a gift of love, so too do the generations of your family stand here with you on our bima at Temple Beth-El and our wolf sanctuary and pass Torah down to you. And it is with the hope that you too will continue to take those teachings, take that faith and that tradition and pass it down to those who come after you. So Torah goes, Midor Lador, from generation to generation.
In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it.
Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael. לך אדוני הגדולה הגבורה התפארת והנצח וההוד ככל בשמיים ובארץ ככל בשמיים ובארץ לך אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל ראש.
Just gonna be doing a change of scene here. Hold on. Right here.
Just deciding. This week we read from Parshat Ki Tetzei, meaning when you go out, referring to going out to battle. In this parsha, Moses continues to list the laws by which the Israelites must live. Most of these have to do with moral values, including those concerning marital and family relationships, relationships with others, and the commandment to wear tzitzit. Myles will be reading from Deuteronomy chapter 24, verses 6 through 22. And for the first aliyah, Myles, you can come on up. For the first aliyah, I would like to call upon his aunt and uncle and cousins on Zoom, Eric, Stacy, Matthew, and Lauren Baumholtz, for the honor of the first aliyah.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah, Baruch Adonai Hamorah le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato, Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen.
Lo yachavo rechaim varechev ki nefesh hu chovel. Ki imatze ish gonev nefesh mechav mibnei Israel. V'hit amer bo charo umet haganav hachu uviarta hara mikir becha. Ki shamer benega hasaraat lishmor meod v'laasot kechol asher yoru etchem hakohanim haleviim. Ka asher sivitim tishmeru לעשות זכור את אשר עשה אדוני אלוהיך למרים בדרך בצאתכם ממצרים. A handmill or an upper millstone shall not be taken in pawn, for that would be taking someone's life in pawn. If a man is found to have kidnapped and then enslaved or sold a fellow Israelite, that kidnapper shall die. Thus you will sweep out evil from your midst. In cases of skin affection, be most careful to do exactly as the Levitical priests instruct you. Take care to do as I have commanded them. Remember what the Eternal your God did to Miriam on the journey after you left Egypt.
Blessing after.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tzilchenu. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen. And the second aliyah, I'd like to invite Myles' mom, Melissa. Oh, can you pull the card out for her? Should be underneath.
Baruch et Adonai Hamorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher
Bahar Banu Mikol Hamim Einatan Lanu Et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Lo tashe v'recha mashat meuma lo tavo el beto lavot avoto bachutz ta'amod v'ha'ish asher ata noshe vo yotzi elecha et ha'avot hachutz ve'im ish ani hu lo tishkav ba'avoto hashuv tashiv lo et ha'avot kevo hashemesh ושכב בשלמתו וברכה, ולך תהיה צדקה לפני אדוני אלוהיך. When you make a loan of any sort to your countryman, you must not enter his house to siege his pledge. You must remain outside, while the man to whom you made the loan brings the pledge out to you. If he is a needy man, you shall not go to sleep in his pledge. You must return the pledge to him at sundown, that he may sleep in his cloth and bless you, and it will be to your merit before the Lord your God.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah mimed dehaya olam natabet tehanu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. You can give hugs and kisses. And the third aliyah, I'd like to invite Miles's father, Michael.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Lo tashok sachir ani ve'evion me'achecha o migrecha asher be'arsecha bish'arecha ve'yomo titen secharo ve'lo tavo alecha hashemesh ki ani hu ve'elav hu nose et nafsho ve'lo ikra alecha el Adonai v'chaya v'cha chet lo yumtu avot al banim uvanim Lo yumtu al avot ish bechato yumatu. You shall not abuse a needy and destitute laborer, whether a fellow countryman or a stranger in one of the communities of your land. You must pay him his wages on the same day, before the sun sets, for he is needy and urgently depends on it. Else he will cry to the Lord against you, and you will incur guilt. Parents shall not be put to death for children, nor children be put to death for parents. A person shall be put to death only for his own crime.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam natan b'tohenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen.
The fourth aliyah, I would like to invite Miles's grandparents, Alan and Louise Baumholtz. Next one.
Which one are you doing? Baruch
Oh.
Adonai Eloheinu melech Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Lo tate mishpat ger yatom velo tahavo beged almana v'zacharta ki eved hayita b'mitzrayim vayiftecha Adonai Elohecha misham al ken anochi mesavcha la'asot et hadavar hazeh ki tiksor kesircha ושדיך ושכחת, אומר בשדה לא תשוב, לקחתו לגר ליתום ולאלמנה יהיה. למען יברכך אדוני אלוהיך בכל מעשה ידיך. You shall not subvert the rights of the stranger or the fatherless. You shall not take a widow's garment in pawn. Remember that you were a slave in Egypt, and that the Lord your God redeemed you from there. Therefore do I enjoin you to observe this commandment. When you reap the harvest in your field and overlook a sheaf in the field, do not turn back to get it. It shall go to the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, in order that the Lord your God may bless you in all your undertakings.
Blessing after.
Go to an oil hill, melech haolam, asher nitchai, to read up that, Elohim, Hinu, Chayu, Baruch atah Adonai, Yosei Nato.
Amen. The final aliyah we reserve for our bar mitzvah, and I would like to invite his parents, Melissa and Michael, to join him. Ya'amod Mordechai Hesh ben Aharon Dov Verut Habachur Habar Mitzvah.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten chaTorah.
Amen.
Ki tachbot zetcha lo tefa'er ahercha lager layatom ve'almana yehye. Ki tigsor karmecha lo te'olel ahercha lager layatom ve'almana yehye. Vezacharta ki eved hayita be'eretz Mitzrayim al ken anochi mesavcha la'asot et hadavar hazeh. When you beat down the fruit of your olive trees, do not go over them again. That shall go to the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow. When you gather the grapes of your vineyard, do not pick it over again. That shall go to the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow. Always remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt. Therefore do I enjoin you to observe this commandment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten chaTorah.
Amen. And I will, as we conclude with Torah, I will invite you to rise in honor of the Torah.
We're a little out of practice with our bar mitzvah choreography. Okay. Take it away, Myles.
Okay. My Torah portion, Ki Tetzeh, begins by talking about not taking items from others in pawn, because that would be the same as taking their life in pawn. Taking something in pawn would be to take an item indefinitely from someone. like stealing from the person, but you're asking to take it. Then it discusses that if you loan something to someone, do not beg for it back, but instead wait for the item to be given back. Also, if you are the one being given the loan, you should give the person back their article before sundown. If you do, it will be your merit to God, which means you give your gift to God for the redemption of your actions. Then it explains how you must be truthful to your workers and pay them on the day that they need to be paid, because they might need that money to live. This is important because people trust you to be timely and pay them on the right day. After all, the person might rely on that money for food and other uses. Then it says you must not treat others as lessers or not as important because of past events. Judging a person because of their previous actions will not help you create a perfect example of who the person is. The person who you are judging most likely will regret their actions or move past them. Finally, the portion says when you harvest your crops and receive money, you have to give a part of it to the strangers, the fatherless, and widows. You must also give it anonymously because you should not expect to be given something in return for your good deed, but instead be happy you helped someone else. I wanted to focus on how being Jewish helps me understand helping people. Moses al-Sheikh, a 16th century author, rabbi, and commentator, explains that all people are born with the potential to be caring and helpful, but you must overcome your selfishness to become a morally right person. He also says that you must remember that you are commanded by God to be helpful and loving to everyone you meet, even if they are your enemy. I agree with Rabbi al-Sheikh because being upset if something doesn't go your way does not help anyone. Instead of being upset, try to learn from what happened and know what not to do if it happens again. We should listen to people and care about what they're saying, even if it's not exactly correct. You need to not be arrogant and selfish, but to look out for others, not just yourself. An example of this is one time I was talking to my sister about something horse-related, which Audrey knows quite a lot about. I had told her something that she thought was common knowledge, but I didn't know about it. She told me I was wrong, but I would not listen to her because I was so focused on being right. It had gone so far that she had just yelled at me to look it up, which then I had realized that I was wrong and she was right. I had apologized to her and said I would look up anything about horses before arguing with her about it. In these situations, I was only looking out for myself, and I needed to not be so selfish. If I had listened to Audrey in the first place, I would have learned something and let her teach me. Becoming a bar mitzvah is important to me because it is a rite of passage for me to become counted and essential in the Jewish world. I am happy that I can be a part of a chain of B'nai Mitzvah before me and can continue the chain to the next group of Jews. Being a part of this tradition is special to me. I have learned that no matter the circumstances or trouble young people like me have been in, we're able to have B'nai Mitzvah during anything. I would like to thank my mom and dad for encouraging me and not giving up on me, my sister for being kind to me during my studies. Thanks to Rabbi Jurgen for helping me with my Devar Torah, Rabbi Nathan for helping me through the years with my Hebrew studies, and Cantor Berlin for assisting me with prayers. I want to thank Hagit for helping me read my portion and practicing with me, with a special thanks to everyone who came to be with me as we celebrate this milestone. And also, a special thanks to Rachel Stern, who has come to this wonderful service we have hosted here. Rachel Stern had promised me before my bar mitzvah that every time I say her name, I get $100. So thank you very much, Rachel Stern, for coming today. Shabbat Shalom.
Actually, I know because you said being selfish is not the way to go. I know that whatever money Rachel Stern gives you, you're just going to give to tzedakah. Isn't that right, Myles?
Yes.
I love that. Okay. Which gives us a perfect segue into our prophetic perspective, which is to say that at Temple Beth-El, we emphasize the fact that the world is created on three pillars, on Torah, Avodah, and Gemilut Chasadim. on study, on spiritual seeking or prayer, and acts of loving kindness. So Myles has done a beautiful job of leading us in worship, fulfilling the pillar of avodah, and has taught us some insightful Torah. And so now he gets to talk to us about Gemilut Chasadim. Instead of the traditional Haftarah reading that is often done at Temple, we ask our students to pick a prophetic quote that inspires them, texts that surround us in our sanctuary and our stained glass windows or around the temple, and find a way to connect that text to their own lives and the world around us. So Myles will start with the traditional Haftarah blessings and then offer his prophetic perspective.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar bin v'im tovim v'ratza v'divrehem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo unvinvei ha'emet v'asedek. My prophetic text, Isaiah 43:10. You are my witness, says the Eternal, and my servants whom I have chosen. You can find it at Temple Beth-El on the stained glass windows in the sanctuary. My prophetic text is about how God has chosen all humans to do good to each other daily. Social justice has become a more critical movement now more than ever, with older topics being modernized like the Black Lives Matter movement and gender equality. People want to build a better and more equal world. For my mitzvah project, I raised money for the San Antonio Food Bank. I raised over $4,000 so far from friends and family members through direct calls and emails on a video on Facebook. I am really happy to be able to help the community out during COVID. I want to help people who can't afford food right now and people who can't get out because of restrictions. My mitzvah project and prophetic text connect because I have become God's servant and have raised money for others in the community that need help to get food during this time where it can be challenging to get work and go to the grocery store. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sur kol haolamim tzadik bechol hadorot ha'el hane'eman ha'omer oseh hamdaber kayem shekol devarav emet v'asedek al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanvi'im ve'al ha'shabbat hazeh Vishanatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha velimnucha lechavod utifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach uvarchim otach yitbarach shimcha be'if kol chai tamid leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen.
Myles, I'm so grateful to be here with you today. It's one of the moments where you pause and look around and wonder, where did the time go? I'm so proud to see how strong and confident you are. I'm so proud of the wonderful, wonderful man you have become. Watching you grow and learn throughout the years has been one of the greatest gifts of my life. These past 6 months have been especially challenging as you prepared for this day. I know it wasn't easy, but I saw you grow through the process of studying, thinking, feeling, writing, and discussing Judaism, and it has made me proud. This day is a source of great pride and joy for your father and I. Even though we came from different religious backgrounds, we agreed from the start that we wanted to raise you and Audrey with a formal Jewish education. Listening to you lead the service and deliver your Devar Torah has made it clear to me that you have found meaning in those years of Hebrew school and at Green Family Camp. You have found your own Jewish identity. Now, Myles, I don't have a lot of great motherly advice for you today. The truth is, I'm still trying to figure it out myself. But if there's one piece of guidance I would pass along on this momentous occasion, it is this. Follow your heart. There is joy in there. There's laughter in there. There's pride in there. And there's empathy in there. But don't forget, there's also pain in there. There's worry in there. And there's sorrow in there. We cannot avoid pain, fear, and sorrow in our lives. And we shouldn't avoid them, even if we could. Sadness and fear are very much part of being alive and being Jewish. God gives you the empathy in your heart, not only to feel what others feel, but to make them feel a little better about themselves. So continue to stand up and speak out when you see someone hurting or fearful of being wronged. That is your part of your Jewish identity. I know you're prepared to embrace it. You have shown us that today. The legacy you receive today may carry a heavy load, but is also the ultimate privilege. You make me so, so proud, not because you're perfect and always do the right thing, but because of the goodness in your heart and the love in your soul. Follow your heart, Myles. It's true, it beats, it lives, and it's awesome, just like you.
Okay. My turn. You may want these for this.
Oh,
It is no small miracle that we've arrived at this moment here together, both in person and through the magic of the internet, to celebrate this sacred milestone. As a family, we are thankful to everyone who has helped make this possible. And I would especially like to thank Rabbi Nathan, Rabbi Jürgen, Cantor Berlin, all of your teachers, and of course, Hagit. Myles, here we are, you did it. If there are tears in anyone's eyes, they are tears of joy. At the beginning of the summer, I gave Myles a copy of a book, Putting God on the Guest List, and I read it too, and I want to share some of the things that I learned. Your bar mitzvah is about ritual maturity. It's about growing up as a Jew, about being a fuller member of the Jewish community, about moral responsibility, about connecting to Torah and connecting to the community and connecting to God. I can't begin to describe the love and pride I have for you at this moment. The journey was long and there were the occasional hurdles, but like most every single thing you set your mind to, you jumped higher than you ever imagined. We always believed in you, even when you had your doubts. The history of our people is a simple one, yet a powerful one. 3,000 years ago, a small band of former slaves came to a new understanding of how human beings were meant to live. How could they change their ways of eating, speaking, and doing business in order to be totally human? And they changed the world forever. You now take your place in that history. Judaism is not just a matter of getting on God's side by obeying some strange rules. It is a guide to investing your life in the things that really matter. The goal of Judaism is not just the survival of the Jewish people. The goal is to transform the world into the kind of world that God had in mind when he created it. Your place in that continuum is the reason you work so hard. It's the reason we're here today. You are a kind person. You have a gentle soul. We'll get this back in a minute. Prepare for your bar mitzvah, even during the summer, during the pandemic, with all of the uncertainty that came along with it, was a Herculean task. And yet you did it. Your mitzvah project to raise money and awareness for the food bank for the people of San Antonio was a tremendous success. And we are all very proud of you. Two more things and you're off the hook. Ooh. There is a story from the Talmud. A non-Jew approaches the great sage Hillel and asks him, "Can you summarize all of Judaism for me while I stand on one foot?" And Hillel answers, what you don't like, don't do, and the rest is commentary. That's it. Now, go study the commentary. Myles, I hope you embody that as you go forward in life. Continue your studies and continue your kindness. A few more words from the Talmud, and this is my blessing for you. Give me that. It's a visual issue. May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still to come. May you trust in generations past and yet to be. May your heart be may your heart be filled with intuition and your words be filled with insight. May songs of praise ever be upon your tongue. May your vision be straight path before you. May your eyes shine with the light of the holy words and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. Congratulations, Myles.
At this poignant moment of blessing, we get ready to return the Torah to the Ark. So I'd invite everyone to turn to page 256 and rise. Open the Ark. Torah back.
is chaim hi המחזיקים בה ותומכיה מאושר דרכיה תחינם בכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש ימינו כקדם.
You may be seated. Myles, come on over here. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's definitely a look of relief on your face, and it's great to see you looking relaxed, but I hope that really you also feel very proud. As your mom and dad both said so beautifully, each very much in their own way. This has been a journey for you and for your family. And though it wasn't always, and certainly wasn't a perfect journey, I think it shows that life is never perfect. And you, with your strong work ethic and your desire to succeed and also finish what you started, really stood here today in front of our whole congregation, physically and also online. Over there, you can wave to all those people over there. There we go. That you've done all of us proud and made us feel good about the future. Not just the Myles Baumholtz future, but also for the future of the Jewish people. I remember when we did study your Torah portion, this section about taking care of other people really spoke to you. And your whole Torah portion really is about going out of your way to do the right thing, even if it might not seem on the surface that it's your problem or your business. We're still supposed to do things that make us think ahead and prepare for the worst case scenario and also protect people in the worst case scenario. So here we are, right? Not necessarily in the worst case scenario, but not in the best case scenario, right? We wish that our sanctuary was full of your family and friends, but it's not. We wish that we had been able to go to GFC this summer, but we couldn't. We wish that we could study everybody together face to face without our masks, but we can't. But that's where we are, right? And as Jewish people, looking back across our history, we don't just say, when he's a little Yiddish here, okay, oi gewalt, right? We might say oi gewalt, but then we say, all right, we roll up our sleeves and we say, how are we going to make the best of where we are and make it a special moment full of joy and life and blessing? And that's what this morning is all about joy, about life, and about blessing. You chose a project that is dear to my heart. I work with the food bank a lot as well, and I know that our city needs food and help more than ever, as do people all over the world. And taking your time to not only raise money, but raise awareness about the work that the food bank does is awesome. But also having watched you grow, and I know I say that to everyone, but right before I moved down to the bubble, we used to live not very far from each other. So I got to see you not just at Temple, but all the time. And watching you grow from a little boy into a really wonderful young man has been a blessing. Standing here with you, you look very handsome in your suit and your bar mitzvah talis. It reminds me that the time does go, as your mom said, but when we look at who our young people are becoming, even though we miss when they were little, it's just full of excitement to think about what the future holds. So for me, when I see your kindness and your thoughtfulness and your perseverance, it inspires me, knowing that it was so important for you to be here today and do it on this day with the Torah portion you chose, no matter what, is wonderful. And it shows a strength of character and spirit that makes us proud of you. Every single one of us at this moment, and really in life, has to make decisions that work best for us and for our families. And our job, as you said, is not to judge other people or assume that they're right and we are wrong, we're right and they are wrong, but to feel good and confident and proud in our own decisions, and then be generous and kind to other people for the decisions they're making too. I know you have that in your heart, and that is part of who you are. And I hope that you will keep that truth inside of your heart as you continue to do great things in our world. I'm going to invite you in front of the ark, along with your mom and dad, to share in the priestly benediction, the Birkat Kohanim. And I'm going to ask everyone to rise. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. May God deal kindly with you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's radiant presence shine upon you, Myles. Grant you life's choicest blessings of health and wholeness, happiness, lots of family love, and most of all, of peace. Amen. Everyone can be seated except for Myles, who's going to come forward. And I'm going to stand here with you because Rabbi Jurgen I'm going to mute us. Rabbi Jurgen is going to wish some congratulations as well. You can see her right there, but you can look over there.
You actually not mute Myles so I can talk to him?
Okay, sure. As long as there's,
awesome.
Yeah. All right, cool.
So Myles, I wish you can look at me instead of the camera. That's okay. Everyone knows you're looking at me instead of the camera. It's okay. So I wanted to say that I wish that I was there with you and your family today so much, but I'm so glad that I got to be part of your bar mitzvah service anyway, and be here to do that with you. In front of you, and Rabbi Nathan kind of slid them over in front of you, are your gifts, and I want to give them to you. So the first one is the tzedakah box. So see, now we're testing your Jewish knowledge. There we go. So is the tzedakah box. And the tzedakah box is from our Yachad, our religious school parents group. And I know that you'll put this to good use. And you and I had so many conversations about what to do for a mitzvah project in the midst of a pandemic and how you could help the world. And we went through a number of things. And when you said, okay, I'm going to do the food bank, you hit the ground running. And within a couple of days, you texted me and you said, I'm already at $1,000. And it was so awesome to hear that and to see that you were so excited about it and really felt that what you were doing was impactful. So I know that you will put the tzedakah box to really wonderful use. You can put it down and then grab the Kiddush cup and candlesticks in front of you.
I'm just going to say Kiddush cup and candlesticks so that the Zoom screen will actually switch over to Myles, showing the ritual items.
There we go.
Okay, now Rabbi Jurgen, you continue.
Here, you know what? I'll I'll spotlight him so it stays on him. There we go. All right, perfect, beautiful, thank you. And everyone can say, ooh, ah. So those are from our brotherhood, so that as you continue on in your Jewish life, which I know that you will, you have the opportunity to have that Kiddush cup and candlesticks to continue the traditions on your own and with your family, but with your. Then you have a Tanakh in front of you, a Bible, and it should, that's the one, you got it. And it has your name on it. And ooh, ah, and that's from Sisterhood. And that allows you to continue your Jewish learning and to be able to find different meaning in different Torah portions. And you and I really connected on this Torah portion because Ki Teitzei is my bat mitzvah Torah portion. So you and I connected with that right away. The last thing is that little envelope. It's all the way on the bottom. So you got to kind of move everything else. There you go. Perfect. And in there, there's two things. One is a certificate to show, ooh, ah, thank you. Look at that with the hand gestures and everything. We didn't even practice this. In there is the certificate to say, yes, this did happen today. As we talked about before the service started, it goes by really fast, right? Yeah. So now you have this to be able to say, yes, this for sure did happen. And I was here, I remember it, and we have the video. And then also there is a gift certificate in there to help get you on a trip to Israel from North American Federation of Temple Youth, which is our youth programs. And when, yes, it's under the introductory letter, yes. And when you go through confirmation, which I know that you will, Temple Beth-El will match that to help you get on that trip. And maybe it'll be Garen Green, who knows, right? That's always the hope. So with all of these gifts and blessings in our life, continue with the concluding portion of our worship with Aleinu on page 283. And I would ask the congregation to please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגורלנו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. As we prepare to join together in Kaddish, sharing in meditation number 4 on page 290, we note with sadness the death of Michael Stern, father of student Rabbi Sam and Dr. Karen Stern, and Rachel Stern, husband of Gail and brother of Ronnie and Steve Glazer. Meditation number 4 by the poet Walt Whitman. Why should I wish to see God better than this day? I see something of God in each hour of the 24 and each moment then. In the faces of men and women, I see God, and in my own face in the glass. For I find letters from God dropped in the street, and everyone is signed by God's name. And I leave them where they are, for I know that wheresoe'er I go, others will punctually come forever and ever. Thinking of the generations that came before us, those who in their own way make a moment like today possible. We consecrate the yard sites observed in our congregation this week. We'll put up a share screen, I believe, with their names. Maybe not. Okay. There we go. Okay. We remember Jerome Adelman, Bobby Alter, Amos E. Ashworth, Reuben Barnett, Alvin Bright, William Bright, Bill Bullock, James Bird, Charles Drillick, Rose Fink, Gladys Glasserman, Peter Gravin, Harvey Guller, Alexander Gerwitz, Larry Helligman, Rabbi Lawrence I. Jake Jakowski, Irving Kaplan, Bernard Levy Kaufman, Alfred L. Laser, Charlene Glotzman Laser, Louis I. Lauderstein, Eddie Lavis, Frank Levine, Laura Levin, Helen Levitan, Eliza Levy, Jean-Paul Lom, Anne Lichtenstein, Jane M. Fleming Lynch, Charles C. Madden, Carol Meyer Jr., Hyman Phillips, I. L. Pitluck, Martha Michelson Pitluck, Joel H. Pullen, Nell Rice, Abe Rips, Louis Rodas, Zelda C. Schnee, John A. Scher, Charlotte Schifrin Dahl, Amin Simon, Abraham Sobel, Miriam Helen Sobel, Bertie Solomon, Rosalie Tectiel, Todd Tectiel, Elizabeth Sissy Ortaya, Gerald Weaver, Marvin Aaron, and Irving Jurgen. To their names, we link the names of 5 who in the last 30 days, Shloshim, have been laid to their eternal rest: Jean Croft, Nellie Ambrose, Ruth Susser Shapira, Kalman Lowe, and Alan Richard Kahn. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for blessing, along with the memories of those who we hold in our hearts every single day. We turn now to page 294 and rise as one congregation as we praise God for the gift of memory, the sacred gift of life, sharing in the words of the Kaddish together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divra firtei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'yizman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam omeh omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei v'kedusha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. Our closing song is In Kelohenu on page 322. Audrey, I'm going to invite you to come up here and join us for Kiddush and Motzi, which we will share after our closing song. Shabbat Shalom and Mazel Tov to you. Thanks, everybody. It concludes our Shabbat service today. Have a wonderful day.